Can't hear me.
Good evening.
Mr. Iannotti, can you hear us? Can't hear you, man. You must be muted. No, I can't hear him.
Yeah, there you go.
How's that?
Oh, there you are. You made it. You made it.
Yeah. Had to finish up that other call.
That's great. That's great. Wonderful. You guys are in for a treat tonight. All right. We're gonna hang on about another maybe 2 minutes. Let's let a few more people come on board. But John, this is our inaugural, our first Monday night official meeting, and to have you on tonight as our first honored speaker, I got to tell you, man, this is great. You guys that are here right now, put on your seatbelts because you are going to hear stuff tonight that's going to turn your head inside out. I guarantee it. All right. So it's all really, really good information. Grab a pen and paper. Get ready to take some notes as we get started. And hey, Carl, I see you, man. That's great. More people are signing on. We got so much excitement, John, about this call. All right.
Really?
So much, and we're doing this 9 o'clock Eastern time, and we got people across the country logging on. So,
Wow.
So this is really, really great. Really, really great. John Hale's out of Florida. I bought this man's course a few years back. I wouldn't put anybody on this podcast that I'm not comfortable with. I believe in everything that he does in his business. What he offers is basically a business in a box. Just listening to this man tonight, whether or not you invest in a program or not, it's going to blow you away. I've come to know him personally, and I got to tell you, him and his wife are partners. And Stephanie, I don't know if she's on, but John, she's a firecracker.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah. She's a keeper.
She's a keeper. Wow. So we've had a lot of fun together, and I'm looking forward to being down there in May, man. We're gonna go out to the ale house. So
Sounds like a plan to me.
there you go, man. Anytime you get out of the house, right?
You bet.
All right. So anyway, we got a bunch more people on here. So I'm gonna read an intro to you, John, and you can stop me whenever you want. It's short. All right.
Okay.
And everyone understand that everything that the Iannottis do it's plural. It's John and his wife Stephanie. So John and Stephanie have been in business since 2000 in the real estate business, with over 60 years combined experience in real estate and investing and teaching and mentoring over 3,000 creative deals under their belts. They are considered some of the best people, most experienced people in the industry. John purchased his first real estate property in 1978, and he has been so infatuated with the real estate investing since then. Today, John and Stephanie are involved in over 8,000 deals collectively. From doing so many deals, John realized that there are many different market cycles like we're in right now, market cycles, and knew he had to do something different to survive in each of these cycles. Because of this, John developed two different techniques that give him the potential to make money in almost every single deal that comes in. Did everybody hear that? So tonight, with as little time as we have, we're gonna try and he's gonna give you a whole course, but he's gonna try and jam it down so we have some time for questions. But this evening, hopefully, he's gonna have time to cover the number one source for seller leads, how John went from spending $25,000 a month in advertising to under $1,500, what you should do first before finding motivated sellers, how to make money on over leveraged properties, upside down, get it, right? And a unique way to use the United States Postal Service to target different neighborhoods. And lastly, how COVID-19 has affected John's business. So with that, John, I'm going to turn this over to you. Ladies and gentlemen, John Iannotti, I think one of the most respected people in the real estate industry. John, take it away, bud.
Hey, thanks, Steve. Great intro. Man, I hope I live up to that. It was pretty good. You did good.
John, I'm just going to ask everybody to stay on mute and we're going to have time this evening. If you have questions, Justin, where do you want to put the questions? On the chat?
Yeah, if you're in the Zoom room here, you can put it in the Zoom room chat. By the way, if you're watching out there and you want to be in here, zoomjustin.com. Okay, that's how you get in here. Zoomjustin.com. We've got a couple dozen people in here. You be my guest for another couple dozen. Okay, come on in. Zoomjustin.com. If you have questions, put them in the chat. If you're going to watch on YouTube, put it in there too. I'll be monitoring that. And when we get to the Q&A part of the night, I'll try to bring in some of those if we have time. Does that sound okay, guys?
That's why we keep you around, Justin.
All right, good. That's why you pay me the big bucks.
Great guy. There you go. All right, John, take it away, man.
All right. Well, let's see. I put together a short presentation on PowerPoint, so let me see if I can get into that. Let's see. Where is that? Where is it? Home. Let's go into. Well, let me do this first, guys. I got to tell you, my wife and I, we don't do a lot of speaking. However, we pick and choose where we want to speak and for who, because we don't want to be just another guru out there, selling something. So what we've done is, we were asked for years to get out there and speak, and we didn't want to do it because we were part of a dog and pony show for years, and it was like, you know what? If we do this, we're gonna create a system that, number one, it's gonna work in just about any circumstance. Number two, we're going to keep the price so reasonable that anybody can get into it, and we're going to make it lifetime. So it's a lifetime membership with us. So if things do change, you get that. You don't have to pay extra. So we thought, we've made it. This is our way to give back. We're making a little bit on it to cover our costs and what have you, yes, but it's nothing compared to what you could pay other people and keep paying and keep paying and keep paying. So we came up with a system, and we call it the complete agreeable transaction system. And like Steve said, it's two systems that we created, and now the majority of the gurus out there use it in their teachings. They just call it different stuff. However, we were the creators of it. We put it together. We've been doing it. Like Steve said, I bought my first property in 1978. We've been involved in over 8,000 deals in climbing. So I mean, it's a phenomenal system. I can't say enough about it, and I think you guys will like it as well. But we created it back when the crash came for the banks. So when the banking crisis came, we created one part of the system, and then we created another part of the system for after the banking crisis, when things started getting really good again. So it's a very complete system that you'll like, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy, hearing about it. So we've done 3 books now. We're #1 bestsellers on all 3 books. We've been on all the radios and TV stations and all that stuff. The main thing on this slide here, though, guys, I want you to see the bottom line there in yellow. Please check your previous real estate training at the door, because you're going to find out that we do things different. We do things a lot different than what's taught out there.
This is outside the box, man. Way outside the box.
But it works. So that's the key to the whole thing. And we're constantly adjusting. When they throw another curveball at us, we figure out, how to smack that thing out of the park. So just a little background. Steph, she was an orthopedics technician for 24 years, worked for one of the national renowned orthopedic surgeons in Pittsburgh. Myself, I was a policeman. I always wanted to be a policeman. I worked my way up to chief of police, quickly realized I'd rather put politicians in jail than work for them. So my stint as police chief didn't last very long. So I went into the next best thing in town, and that was the steel mill. So I spent a lot of time in that steel mill, but during all the different layoffs I had and all the different time that I had on my hands in the steel mill, I was doing real estate deals on the side. So we finally realized that it was costing us money, me going to work every day. So I went in one day and told them I'm not coming back, and I didn't. So again, we've been for at least 20 years full-time investors. We did a book with Ron LeGrand that was #1 bestseller, The New Masters of Real Estate, and we're in 6 of his other books as well. And we also wrote the #1 bestselling book of Business Leaders Success Volume 1 and Elite Real Estate Leaders. And we've taught Central America, we've taught in Canada, and all across the United States. So we're seasoned that way. But again, like I said, we don't do a lot of it. So we normally do about 6 to 8 speaking engagements a year. That's all we do. The big guys, they're every weekend, they're somewhere else. We don't do that. We don't do that. We've done well over 3,000 deals, like Steve said, of our own, and many more than that as well. Here's the 2 books, two of the 3 books. The one with Ron, and then that was our first book on our own, and then the second book. So that's a bunch of good stuff. Here we are being interviewed on Fox TV about one of our books. That was pretty cool. So just another. Oh, by the way, see me in the suit jacket? No, that's about the only time you'll see me in a suit jacket. I don't wear a suit jacket. What you see me in tonight, this shirt, this is what I wear every single day. I do not. I'm constantly advertising for us. And the suit jacket doesn't do that for me. It would look kind of weird with all this, lettering on it and stuff. So I'm hoping I made this thing short enough that we can get a lot of questions in. But guys, the 3 hardest ways to make money in real estate, and I got to tell you, we do all 3. So I'm not telling you not to do these things. I'm telling you we do them, except the only thing is, we found a easier way to do real estate other than these 3 things. And that is wholesaling, rehabbing, and landlording. And we do them all. We do all those, but there's an easier way, and that's the CATS system. So are you having trouble getting 65 cents of the value discount from sellers today? Do most of your sellers want full retail price or more than retail price? And if your area is probably no different than any other area across the country, they want full retail price. So what do? We give them full retail price. Can you afford to tie up thousands of dollars, deal with contractors, holding costs, and hope that you sell it? You get into some areas, like down here in Naples, Florida. I mean, you're looking at $400,000 or $500,000 per house. Can you afford to tie up that kind of money? How about Seattle or up California, where you get into the millions? I mean, you can't do a lot of deals if you're tying up that kind of money. So we figured out how not to do that, but still do deals with that kind of house. Do you want to babysit your tenants, deal with their plugged toilets, their trash, and damage to your properties?
Yeah.
Yeah, Steve, you like that.
Oh, yeah.
All right. How about vacancies? Vacancies are expensive. You know, yeah, granted, it may not be getting damaged from the tenant, but what about if they come in and they want to steal all your copper, you know, or your appliances or your AC unit? You know, I mean, that gets expensive too. Plus, you're not getting any income. So vacancies are very costly. But there is a better way, guys. So what we've done is we've come up with something that we call seller-friendly terminology. Okay. This is part of how we change or are changing the industry, because I now hear some of the gurus using our terminology. Let me preface this with, when I go to a seller, my whole goal with a seller is to get an agreement to buy his house. I don't care what price he wants. He could want $400,000 for a $200,000 house. I don't care. I want the agreement to buy it, because without the agreement to buy, I have nothing. I don't have anything to start my process. So instead of using the words contract or documents, we refer to it as an agreement. It's a softer way of saying what it is, and it's seller friendly. Okay. Now, instead of saying a buyer or a tenant buyer, we refer to those as funder. Now think about that for a second. What's a funder? Well, a funder is anyone who brings cash to the table for us to do the deal. It could be hard money, private money, IRA funds, buyer with a loan or buyer with cash, or it could be a tenant buyer. Do they not all bring money to the table to do the deal? So they're going to fund our deals, right? Okay. The dreaded I word. Are you an investor? Well, my comeback to that is we buy several properties. Some we keep for our own portfolio and some we pass on to others. Is that a nice, easy way of saying you're an investor? Yeah, soft. How about marketing? Remember, I'm going to try and get an agreement to buy for cash. We will submit our signed agreement to our funders for their approval. Once we hear back from them, we will let you know what they say and schedule a closing as quickly as possible. That's how we talk about marketing. Okay? Keep all this in mind, guys, because it's going to come in handy. What are some contract terms? Because we do a lot of terms deals. Well, terms are seller financing, lease options, subject to, wraparound mortgages, subordination, and a whole bunch of others. Okay? How about contract terms today? Cash or an end user with a loan? These are the two that we are really seeing in our business today. They either have the cash or they can get a loan, or we can get them a loan through one of our mortgage brokers. Okay. So the creative terms of putting together maybe a seller finance deal. Lately, I've done probably 3 of those in the past 2 weeks. They're starting to come in again. So we're finding people who want the house that have some money. It may have come from, COVID checks or wherever, tax returns, whatever, but they got some cash and we can put them into a house with some terms. So we've been doing some of those deals as well. All right. So the first system that we created after the crash, or the banking crash, was a system I called ACT. Now you may have heard that out in the world because I actually gave that system to our mentor, and he ran with it. And last I heard, he made over $10 million selling it. But I sometimes think maybe I should rethink that decision to give him that. But no, it was our give back to him, and it helped him out when he was having a rough time. And it's a great system, and it's been taught to thousands of people around the country. But what's ACT stand for? It's agreeable contract terms. And I call it the yes side of the business. The yes side of the business is a motivated seller. Okay. They'll say yes to anything. They're motivated. Now, these houses can be not so pretty, or they can be pretty. Now, I call them not so pretty because that little caveman sent me a letter saying I can't use that word that begins with you when you talk about not so pretty houses. And if you know what that word is, I'm not allowed to use it. So, okay, then I'll trademark not so pretty houses. They can't use that. So, it goes both ways. So they can be not so pretty, or they can be pretty. The deal is structured according to the price or terms that the seller can do. So the seller is going to tell you, take my house, please. You can take over the payments. I can lease option it. I'll do whatever. You can have it for this dirt cheap price. They're telling you what the terms are going to be. Okay. They're very motivated. We match them up with our funders. We match our funder up with the agreements that we have. So I call it building your own MLS system. I call it multiple leasing system. And that's all your agreements to buy. So now you've got all these agreements to buy, and you match up the people that come in who have the cash. They can get a loan, they can do terms, that kind of stuff. And we match them up with the properties we have and see if they like something. If they like something, now that starts the whole process of negotiating. And we negotiate with our seller, and we negotiate with our buyer. I call it the 2 A's. We keep it affordable to the funder. That's our buyer. And the way we keep it affordable to our funder is if I have a deal where the total PITI is near market rents, then I've got a deal, because they're not renting this. I can sell it to them for what they're paying for rent. So the total PITI is principal, interest, taxes, insurance, HOA fee, anything that attaches to as a monthly fee to the mortgage payment. So I call it the total PITI. Then the other A is got to make it attractive to my seller. I got to sell it to the seller that this is a great deal and that this is what they should do in order to get out from underneath the property. Find a funder who can do the price or terms we have, and we go cash our check. Very simple system, and it's worked for thousands of people across the country, and we use it every day. So it's not something that was created 15 years ago that's not used anymore or applicable today. This is something that works today. Now, once the banking crisis was over, and everybody, the market started swinging back up again, everybody wanted more full retail price. They wanted more than retail price. So we had to come up with another way of doing things. So what I created was a system called REACT. Now, REACT is reverse engineered agreeable contract terms. Again, these houses can be not so pretty, or they can be pretty. We reverse engineer the deal according to the price or terms the funder can do. So the funder's telling us what they can do, and then we reverse engineer it back to the seller, and we sell it to the seller that, hey, we have funding, and this is what it is, and this is how we can do it, and this is good for you, and this is why you should do it.
One more time, John. One more time. That is huge.
Okay.
Huge.
So what we've done is we reverse engineer the deal according to price or terms the funder can do. So the funder tells us, I've got this much cash, or I can get a loan, or I can make monthly payments and I got a little bit of cash. They tell us what they can do. And then we go back to the seller and we sell it to the seller that, hey, this is what we've got for funding, and will this work? Because a lot of times what we do is we'll show the seller, you want 100,000, but I can get you 110. And I'll go back to them and I'll say, look, I don't have funding for the 100,000, but I do have 110,000. Then I shut up, and they just look at me like I got two heads, and they're like, well, yeah, that'll work. And I said, well, but you got to do it my way. And here's how it's going to work. And then we explain to them the terms of how it's going to work. And we create that, and we teach you how to do all that stuff. We match up the funder with the agreements that we have, remember our MLS system. Keep it affordable to the funder by keeping it near market rents. Sound familiar? Make it attractive to the seller by selling it to them that I can't get you that 100, but how about 110? And, I did one deal, I think, Steve's heard this one, where they wanted $400,000 for a $200,000 house.
Are you sure they wanted 400,000?
24 times he said he wanted 400,000 in our conversation. But you know what? I got him $400,000 for the house, and I didn't make a lot. I made $7,000, but $7,000 would probably, be good for, most people. My wife, she likes to spend money, so I don't know. I gotta make more than that. She's not here, so I can say that. Yeah, I mean, it's just posturing yourself, knowing how to present it, and we show you all this stuff. And again, like I said, guys, this is a lifetime membership with us. It's not a buy a home study course and you're on your own. You've got us. I mean, we're with you. We're going to work deals with you. Present the funding or price or terms to the seller, and we cash our check. It's a very simple process.
On your system there, on your screen, you're showing the current line, and you're showing up the next slide coming up. I don't know if everybody's got that.
This one?
Yeah, the one, I don't know. It's on my screen. It's on the right-hand side. It says locate funders, and it has what's coming up next on the next slide. I don't know if you can switch that around or not.
Here we go. Is that the one you want?
No. It's showing like you have what you have currently in your large screen. On the left side of my screen, it has the next animation, the next what's coming up next. So can you make what's on your main screen just show that? If you can, if you can. If you can't, don't worry about it. We don't want to waste a lot of time.
Yeah, you got me. I'm not sure.
Don't worry about it, man. Keep going. You're doing great. Everybody love this? What do you think, huh?
Is it good stuff?
Fantastic.
All right, man. Cool. Come on. We're with you, John. Thank
you,
you,
so locating funders, guys. Remember, the definition of a funder is anybody who brings money to the table to do the deal. Hard money, private money, IRA money, buyer with loan, tenant buyer. These are all ways we fund our deals. Determine what that funder will pay or terms they'll do to get into a property. And once we have a funder interested in a property, then we run our checks on them. And we have a system, it's $50 per person to run a check on a buyer. And it comes back with credit check, background check, Megan's Law, which is sexual predator, employment check, landlord, debt to income check. There's more checks, but it's the biggest report I've seen is 134 pages on somebody. And it's very in-depth for $50. And we don't pay that. We send the buyer to the site. They pay for it. See, you're gonna see that I'm very frugal, and Steph would step in and say cheap, but I don't the last thing I want to do is spend money to buy real estate, but I want to control as much of it as I can. And that's where we are. We control real estate. We don't have to own it because we get the same benefits of owning it. So why worry about owning it? Presenting our offer, we give the sellers what they want. We present the agreement to get it signed. We CYA, and that's control your agreement. And we show you how we do that. And it's a special way of doing it. And it enables us to get around the states who look not so fondly on assignments. So we don't assign anything, and we're everything's above board. Everything's our master agreement that we use with our sellers has disclosures in there. It has rights in there for us that the seller is giving us. Everything's above board. So we don't hide anything. So what I like to say is every agreement you don't take is potential profit you won't make. Okay? Think about that. So we want to close every single deal. Now, here's the thing. If I get 10 leads in today from sellers, I tell my acquisition guy, get me 10 agreements to buy. Again, I don't care what the seller wants. Give it to them. Give it to them. We'll renegotiate it later. So get the agreement, because without that agreement and our special sauce that we use, we can't do anything. Okay. The real wealth, though, is staying in the deal. So we try to negotiate, when we're negotiating back and forth, we're trying to negotiate a deal for us to stay in the middle of the deal. Okay, because that's where the real wealth is, staying in the deal. Flipping deals, yeah, you make nice checks, but now you got to do it again. Whereas if you stay in the deal, now you've got reoccurring checks, you got money up front, you got money on the back. So we try to stay in them as often as we can. So typically, one of the first funding offers that we give our sellers is a creative deal with us staying in the middle. So it's a creative deal where we're the buyer, we're the funder. And if they bite on that, great. You know, we're staying in. If they don't, then I got to keep looking for different funders. And then maybe down the road, a few weeks, come back with another creative deal and sweeten it a little bit, and with us staying in it. And maybe they'll go for it at that point, because time and circumstances changes everything, everybody's minds. So our intent is to stay in as many of these as possible. We close even if the numbers are not worth staying in. So basically, we're taking our money and letting the buyer close with the seller. We just keep repeating the process over and over again. And what we've done is we either win or we learn. So that's what we've learned over the years. We either win or we learn from it and we don't do it again, and we change our system or our process so that we win all the time. Okay. So here's a deal I did. Actually, I got this one here. The reason I put, this is September last year. The reason I put it in here is because it was in the latter part of last year, still in the pandemic. COVID's going on, right? So guys are like, oh, COVID. Okay. We've been doing tons of deals this past year and this year. It's unbelievable the amount of deals we're doing right at the moment. Do we take precautions? Yes. Masks, distancing, all that good stuff. And you know, we're very cautious. We've had, knock on wood again, zero issues with anybody getting infected. So we still go out to the houses. We still meet with people personally. It's a people business. You have to meet with people. If you're going to try and do real estate investing totally virtually, forget it. I mean, you might do a deal here or there, but you're not going to do thousands of deals. I'll guarantee you that. It's a people business. You've got to meet with people. All right. This particular deal, let's see. It was a 5-bedroom, 4-bath, 2-car garage. We figured it was worth around $250,000. Reason we said that was because it was listed for a year at $249,900. So we figured it was worth $250,000, and they could not sell it. So the seller, she calls us. She's got a loan. She tells us she has a loan of $140,000 on the property. So we get an agreement with her to buy it for $203,000. She's happy. We're happy. So we notified our funder buyer list of a new property that's available. So we put it out to our list. Notified our real estate broker that we have a new agreement for sale, because we work with a real estate broker, and then he can bring us some buyers as well. We put the marketing price at $249,900, which is where the agents had it. A realtor contacted us that they had a buyer interested in the property. The offer was made at $239,900. Now remember, we got the agreement at $203,000. So we accepted it, and the lender would only finance $236,900, and we still accepted that. So at $203,000, we're still making pretty good money. We agreed to pay our broker and the buyer realtor commissions for the seller. So we agreed to pay those commissions. We agreed to pay a home warranty for the buyer. And they wanted the HVAC inspected and serviced. So we paid for that. It didn't really need anything, but we paid for it. And there's our closing check.
Look, there's a date on that check, everybody. It's not whited over.
Yeah. Yeah. $27,874 we made on that deal, paying the commissions for both sides of the agents and getting the home inspection and the HVAC serviced. We still pocketed $27,874. Now, the seller got her asking price with us. Oh, did I mention that the agent who brought the buyer worked for the broker who had it listed for a year? We paid the realtor commissions. We paid the HVAC inspection repairs. We paid a home warranty. Seller told us that she owed $140,000, but it ended up being $150,000. So she netted less, $10,000 less. Seller owed a year and a half of back taxes that she didn't tell us about. And the seller's attorney was very upset because she wasn't getting any more money. He said, "You're making 22%. He called me up on a Friday. We're closing the following Monday at 10 a.m. And this guy calls me up, starts reaming me out. "You're making 22%. I said, "Yeah, I'd have made more, but I had to pay her back taxes. I had to pay the brokers, the commissions and all that stuff." He says, "That's not right." And I said, "What do you mean it's not right?" She agreed. She wanted $203,000. I'm giving her what she wants. And I'm picking up some extras too. He said, "That just doesn't seem right." And I said, "Well, talk to my attorney." And I gave him my attorney's name. He said, "I'm not calling him." I said, "Well, then, look, it's simple." I said, "She can close with me on Monday morning, or she can close with the guy I'm bringing to the table Monday morning. Either way, she's closing." The phone went dead silent. 3 minutes, 48 seconds, I think it was. My phone went black. So I hit the button, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, he's still there." But I'm not saying anything. Finally, he came back on the line. He said, "I guess I'll call him." And he hung up. And then we closed Monday morning. So it's like, sorry, I gave your your client what she wanted. What do you want me to do here, pal? But so we deal with the attorneys too. We've trained so many attorneys over the years. I'm sick and tired of training attorneys. But so most of these guys, they're just used to conventional sale, conventional sale, conventional sale. They don't understand anything else. Everything else is illegal. Well, no, it's not. No, it's
I love that.
not. Condos. You guys got condos where you're at? This condo was a 2-2, small, 980 square foot, no repairs. The seller said to me, he says, I could possibly do some seller financing. When they say that to us, we stop them dead in their tracks and we say, look, that's great, but what's your best cash price? We just need a cash price so we can put it out to our funders. Because if I don't stop him, the next words out of his mouth are, I want 50% down and I want this astronomical payment every month. Because he's going to dictate to me the terms. So I stop him and say, just give me your cash price. That's all I want. I'll come. Now it's good. I know he can do terms. I'll come back to him with terms, but they're going to be my terms, not his terms. See? So that's why we stop him. Just get the agreement for cash and go from there. Condo, he wanted 185,000 on this thing. We started looking for our funder. We checked our funder buyer list, notified our realtors and brokers. We had a new agreement to buy. We found an end user willing to pay 175. Well, we got a little bit of an issue, right? Seller wants 185. So we renegotiated with the seller and they agreed to accept 170. Well, okay, so now we're going to make 5,000, right? No. We renegotiated with the funder buyer and they agreed to take their price up to 185 that they'd pay. So we made 15,000 on the deal that started 10,000 in the hole. How do you like doing that? That's how you make money in this business. All right, so why do you need our CAT system, or complete agreeable transaction system? You eliminate your competition. Guys, everybody else is teaching, go find junkers. Go get 65 cents on the dollar. We're telling you, give the seller what they want. Just get the agreement. So who's going to get the agreement to buy the house? You going in there offering 65,000 on a $100,000 house, or me offering them 100,000 for his $100,000 house? Me.
Or $105,000 for a $100,000 house.
Definitely. It's used across the country daily. It's the only system that adapts to the market. You get lifetime membership and updates with us, and you get a website. It's a training portal, and it's got everything on it. It's got videos, audios. It's got marketing stuff. It's the forms. Everything's in there that you need, and we're constantly adding stuff to the site. So it's just I don't think there's anybody else out there doing what we're doing. You get email access to ask questions. Now, you get email access to other guys. You can send an email into their office and somebody will answer you from Salt Lake City. These emails come to me. So if you ask an email to the email address that we give you, it's me. I answer the emails. That's it. You're going to get me. You can't beat that. Every month, I do an hour Zoom call with all the members. Whoever wants to get on, it's an hour call. In fact, the hour before this call, I just finished up our monthly call. Steve was on there for most of that call.
It was a great call.
So you get that every month. You get the opportunity to profit share on deals. If you find a deal and for your first few deals, maybe you want to partner with us on the deals, we'll partner with you and we'll just split profits that are made. So if you make 20,000, we'll each take 10. It's a great way to learn, and we walk you through the process. And you get special pricing tonight on this webinar. You also get a 1 hour jumpstart call with myself and at least one of our mentors, who we give you everything you need to do to get started. You know, you got the system. Now we're going to show you how to use it and how to make it work. This is John and Christy. They've really come on strong. Last year, during a pandemic, they had 3 months. They made over $100,000. They did pretty good last year. This one was in May of last year. $33,400 they made on that check. This one, look at this, September last year, $97,872. How would you like to do that? 2 closings. Now the second one was a small one. It was $1,158. So, but you can't beat that. I mean, that's no money invested, just money coming in. That's how you want to do real estate. All right. This is the front page to our training portal. The main thing is on the left-hand side there underneath the home, it's what's new. I always tell you when you log on to the site, go to the what's new tab first to see what we've changed or added or subtracted from the system, because real estate is very cyclical and it's constantly changing, and we change with it and you'll change with us. So the pros and cons of becoming a CATS member. Pros are it's lifetime membership. You get the 1 hour What Would John Do call every month, email access to me, lifetime updates, free online training portal, get the profit sharing, eliminate your competition, works in all market cycles, work 100% of your leads, not 2%. Potential to make money on every lead. No need to buy any more programs. And the cons are, you know it all. You can learn online for free. You like working too hard. People say you can't do that. You don't have the money. I'll buy it in a few weeks. I have to think about it. You buy it and do nothing. That's the worst one. This is just another program. And I think you've heard it. It is not just another program. And I have 100 more excuses if you want to hear them. So, guys, here's the thing. You go out to my website and you can purchase our system for $8,000. Now, I'm going to tell you, don't go out to our buycatsnow.com website, because you're going to spend $8,000. Now, if you want to, that's fine. I'll take it. But because you're on this Zoom call, we're gonna make it a lot better. How about $19.97 for a lifetime of training? Lifetime. Here's the thing. You get the manual. It's 240 plus pages. There's over 35 MP3s and videos in there. There's resource documents download. The videos, I even have a video in there of me talking like I'm presenting to an attorney what we want to do. So when you go to get your attorney, you take that video with you. You say, this is what I want to do. And it's me talking like I'm talking to that attorney and what we want him to do to work with us. Can't beat that. Free lifetime updates to resources, free online member only website. There's no monthly charge. No monthly charge. I mean, I'm losing tons of money by not charging $20 or something just to have that. It's free. Remember, we said we were going to do this differently if we decided we were going to teach. And this is one of the things that we decided that we're going to do different. You get that monthly 1 hour Q&A call with me and all the other members. The hour jump start call with myself and one of our mentors. Guys, $19.97 gets you the whole system. You can order it at 876-7937, extension 196, or just go online at thecatsteam.com. Either way, you can get it. Now, I got to tell you, we also do a 4-day event.
This is awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
This event is content. It's not a sell-a-thon. It's content. And it's only open to our lifetime members. That's why it's all content. If I opened it up to the masses, then I'd be bringing in all the guys who sell, you know, all that kind of stuff. No, this is just for our CATS members. 4 full days with Steph and I and our team. So we bring in our attorney, title, VAs, the real estate broker, the mortgage brokers, the acquisitionists, our mentors are there. Everybody on our team is there, and you get to spend 4 full days with all of us, learning nothing but content. It's unbelievable. And Steve, he attested to that. But we typically charge $19.97 for 4 days. Well, we got one coming up real quick here. It's April 22nd through the 25th. It's down in Estero, Florida. That's just north of Naples on the West Coast. But you have to be a member to come in.
I know I paid more than that. The last trip. Oh, jeez. It's all right. Whatever.
Well, there may have been some beer involved. I don't know.
There you go. Maybe. Maybe.
But if you guys join, I'm going to let you come for $500. $500. Now, if you think I'm getting rich off of $500 off of 40 people, no, it ain't happening. That just barely covers the cost of the event. And we give away thousands of dollars worth of stuff. Actually, there's 2 drawings, and I think each one is worth at least, I think the last ones were worth $12,000 each or $13,000 each. We give it back. So $500, you can get the 4-day event that's coming up, and it's live. This is live, guys. It's not going to be virtual. This is live because Florida's open. And we did the virtual thing last year, worked okay, but it's not the same. It's not the same. You got to be live to do what we do. So it's going to be live April 22nd through the 25th. And for the whole thing, guys, if you get both, it's $24.97. You can't beat that. And again, that includes the lifetime membership and the 4-day event. So it's 800-876-7937, extension 196, or thecatsteam.com. All right. So I believe that's probably the end of the slides, Steve.
Great.
Anybody has any questions? I'm here. I'm yours. Ask away.
I just want to say that I invested in this about 3 years ago. Maybe it was even a little longer than that. I'm not sure. For me, worth every single penny of it. Every penny of it. Now, what John really skipped around this evening and gave us a good feel for was how his systems work and all. It opened the door. It'll let you think about it. If this is for you, that's great. If it's not, don't worry about it.
Right.
Don't worry about it. It's not going to make anybody richer or poor. But what we're doing this evening is opening your eyes to what you can do. The only thing that limits you in this business is your imagination, basically speaking. You know. So, Justin, are there any questions to be answered? I don't know if anybody written anything in the room in the back or. No, there we go. All right. In the chat, I don't see anything there. All right. which
Well, I
is
could ask a question.
just as fine with us. That's even better. All right.
Yeah, sorry guys, that's great. I was on mute the whole time.
That's great.
Questions?
Can you guys hear me?
Victor,
Oh.
yes.
So, can you speak a little bit about how this works in a expensive market? I'm in California right now, and one of the things you mentioned was about staying local, meeting with people. So, in order to do so, I'm going to be in a really, high ticket area. Can you kind of, touch a little bit on, what I'm looking for on the front end, or what kind of funding I'm looking for to be able to operate in this market?
Well, the higher end markets are no different than the lower ends. It's a couple more zeros, that's all. But what I would recommend is look at your median priced home in your farm market. And I would look at that and below. That will be your sweet spot. Okay, that's where you're going to do the most deals, but you're also going to get calls and do deals on above your median too. So, like for me, I'm in Southwest Florida, and the average, in Fort Myers, Cape Coral, median price is around, I think it's 240, 250. I go down to Naples and Marco Island, it goes to like 450 and about 550. So that's the median. Okay. Now, have I done $1 million homes? Yes. I think the highest I did was 6.5 million. And here's the thing. You're not going to sell or make money on every single deal. Okay. Just like when I have a room full of people, I say, the agents in the room. Has anybody ever sold everything on the MLS in the room? And of course, nobody has sold everything on the MLS. Well, what makes us think that we can sell everything in our little MLS? We're not. Now, I will tell you myself, our business, we probably sell 3 to 4 out of 10.
Okay.
I'm probably doing better than what somebody's going to start out with. But if you could do 1 to 2 out of 10 and make yourself, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100,000, that's a pretty good month, right? So, but you got to start. You got to start somewhere. And I would start at median and below.
Okay. All right. How does that, I see it tying in very well. I've just recently started becoming an active real estate agent. So I'm going on a lot of listing appointments and, scheduled to do a lot. So this would work really well in situations. Can you maybe, if you're an agent, what are you looking for as an opportunity with something like this? Like if, the listing is not something you can do maybe, or.
Right. Yeah. Here's the thing. As an agent, you wear both hats.
Right.
So you got the best of both worlds. Okay. The only problem with being an agent who has an active license is your broker is going to have to approve what you're doing.
Yeah.
So that could throw a wrench in the works, So you gotta. If I always tell everybody, if you have a license and you want to do investing, I would probably what do you call it? Put my license in escrow.
Okay.
Take it from my broker and put it in escrow so that you can do your own thing. Okay. Whereas if you're an active agent, your broker's going to have to approve it. Now, what we also teach, and it's more involved than what I'm going to get into right now, but is we bring a broker into our entity. So he's part of our entity. So now anybody that comes in with us who in our personal business who has a license can hang it with that broker because he's part of the team. He's in the entity that's doing our deals. See, so he understands.
Explain why that's so important.
Oh, we're gonna be here all night.
All right, just make it quick.
Well, here's the thing. A lot of times when you start making money as an investor, agents don't like that because they're not making any money. And so they like to turn you into the state or to the board, okay, that you're selling real estate without a license. Well, how can I be turned into the board, number one, if I'm just selling, I'm selling that I will back out of the agreement to buy the property for a fee. That's not selling real estate. Number two, my broker is a principal in the transaction because he's in the entity that I have that's doing the deals. So how can I be construed as selling real estate without a license when my broker, all the marketing would have his, Joe Broker on it and his license? See, so that keeps them at bay. See, because we have to do that. I've been through 2 attorney generals so far, and you guys don't want to go down that road. It's a pain in the butt, but I came out smelling like a rose on both of them because we do things the right way.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that, John. Good questions there, Victor. You're the man.
You the man. I'm just a man that knows the man.
Any more questions out there?
John,
Yeah.
when you're buying,
Yeah, I have a
Hold on, Jerry's up first. Go ahead, Jerry.
when you're buying the properties, you don't use options. You purchasing everything. You don't do it on a lease option up front. You just purchasing the property.
What I'm using is an agreement of sale to buy the property for cash, but we have in it certain protection clauses and disclosures built into the agreement. One of the protection clauses is it is subject to our funder's approval.
Okay.
So I basically put a financing contingency in it. So I got to find funding that will work. Otherwise, I can't buy. I want to buy, but I got to find financing that'll work for me and the seller. Because the seller gives final approval on the price and terms.
Is that a write-it downer or what? There you go. That's what we say, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody else? Somebody else was jumping in before.
Yeah, I have a question. Hey, John. So I think I heard you correctly, is that you had suggested that this is something we should be trying to do in our local market versus virtual. So is that correct? I mean, what would be, because right now with a lot of the with real estate, a lot of it is being done virtually. So is this something that you would not recommend us to do virtually?
Here's the thing with the virtual stuff. You're probably not going to be very successful in getting our master agreement signed with the sellers if it's virtual. Because there's going to be questions, and if you're not there to answer those questions, they're not going to sign it. The other thing is, when you're doing virtual, and when I mean virtual, I mean you're going outside your market, okay, maybe to another city or state, probably a state, not different state, because that's what a lot of these guys are teaching. You can do it in
Yeah, that's what I mean too.
Yeah. Okay. So if you go out to another state, you got to be set up in that state to do business. I mean, you've got to have your team there. You got to have your attorney, your title, escrow, whatever, lined up to do the deals. Otherwise, how are you going to close these things? So you've got to, that's why I say, do it in your local market. Things are starting to open up, so it'll make it a little easier. I mean, I'm doing mine in Pennsylvania. Well, Pennsylvania is one of the tightest states. Our governor is real tight. He's not letting anything happen. You know, he's starting to loosen up a little bit, but we've done deals the whole way through. And you just have to let your seller know, are you okay with me coming and looking at the property? I will be wearing a mask. You can have gloves if you want. You can do whatever precautions you want. And hopefully, they're doing the same, which I'm sure they are if they're worried about COVID. But the thing of it is, it's a people business. You got to be with the people. If you're on the other end of the email or if you're on the other end of a phone, you could be a scammer, and most people, have their radar up looking for that, and they don't like that. It's a people business, and that's what, being an ex-policeman, I was more of I did more social work than I did police work. I'd take that drunk home instead of arresting him, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Well,
okay.
I knew where you lived.
Social work. I like what you called that. That's cool.
But because I learned how to talk my way out of circumstances that I would get into, domestics, that kind of stuff. You could work your way out of it if you talk to people the right way. And once you learn how to posture yourself as the expert, as the this is how I can help you, kind of a approach, then people, they respond to that. And that makes it real easy. We were just on the call here an hour ago, and my acquisitionist, I asked him, I said, what's your success rate in getting the agreement signed? He said, well, I don't really know the numbers. He said, but if I go to the house, I'm expecting to come back with the agreement. And I will tell you, probably 9 out of 10 times he gets the agreement, because he knows how to posture himself and talk to the people and make them feel comfortable. And he always goes with a mask, so, he just does it. You just got to do things right. And it's a people business.
Hey, John, about doing this in person, there's something big to remember. Number one, not everybody we're going to be talking to is a distressed seller.
True.
All right. And number two, our transactions are all consumer. Well, you're dealing with consumers. Now, you're not talking to, builders or wholesalers or whatever it is. So doing this person to person, and when you're paying somebody full retail on a contract for a house, you really want to be there in person. There's parts of the real estate business you can do remotely and do 1,000 miles away. No argument there. We're not saying you can't do that. What we're saying is, in this part, since you're connecting the consumers together, you're not dealing with, there's no other businesses involved in all this. To keep all this on the right, they're going steady, you really got to be more involved yourself, and to do this more on a level where you're not afraid to get in the car. If you want to drive 2 hours or 3 hours in a car to go and pick up a contract, whatever blows your whistle. But that's where I think we really got to be on that.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
I just had one in terms of, well, first, thanks, Steve, and thanks, John, for being here, man. I really appreciate that. In terms of like getting just all the agreements, even at the full asking price, or what the seller wants, what about the contingencies in terms of like, inspections and all that stuff for your exits? Is it just a long contingency until the funders are found, or what's in that?
All that's built into our master agreement.
Okay.
So there's a probably at least 6 or 7 of those contingencies built in. So there's always a way to get out if we have to. But the main thing is we want to find a funder so that we can stay in, you know.
Right. Okay.
That's the most important thing.
Yep.
Yep. Any other questions with anyone before we sign off?
Yeah, John, I appreciate the time.
Ed, what do you got, Ed? Go ahead, Ed.
Yeah, appreciate it. My question is, where do you target your marketing? Are you looking at landlording, renting, foreclosures? You know, where do you find your success?
Good question. Yeah, our number one place that we've been finding our sellers since probably around 2005 or 6, and we do it every year, is for sale by owner. You know, it hit me one day. These people have their hand up and they're saying, my house is for sale. My house is for sale. Instead of us mailing out thousands of letters and postcards, and we were doing billboards and radio and TV, and I even had a race car done up with, we buy houses on it. We found that for sale by owners is the best place for us to find our properties. Now, I'm not saying just go to forsalebyowner.com. There's forsalebyowner.com. There's buyowner.com. There's thousands of for sale by owner websites out there. Just Google it and you'll see them. Some of them you pay for, most of them are free. But I prefer to find the listings that have been on there for at least a couple of weeks. And I like to go to the not so popular websites because they're not getting the traffic that the popular ones are. Okay. And then I also, I drive around looking for the for sale by owner signs. We still do that. My wife and I still do that. If we're going to go to the store, we'll take a different route each time so that we go past, different houses. And if we find a for sale by owner, I snap a pic, or she snaps a picture of it because I'm driving. And then she texts that over to to our VA, and our virtual assistant then calls and gets the property sheet filled out. And then that goes to my acquisition guy, and bingo, we're off to the races.
We got a question up here. It says from Bob. It says, how long do you tie up the property with an option?
Well, I'm not really using an option. It's an agreement to buy, but I'll tie it up for as long as I can. And my rule of thumb, I guess, if there is one, is I look at what the agents tie up the property for. So if your standard MLS listing is 6 months, then I'll say, give me 3 months. Let me see what I can do in 3 months. If it's like in Pennsylvania, it's 12 months. So by the time they've gone through 12 months on the listing and nothing's happened, they're pretty much putty in my hands. And I can get anything. I can get 6 months. I can get 12 months. I've taken agreements in perpetuity. So, I mean, whatever you can get, that's the beauty of real estate. Everything's negotiable.
I love expired leads.
Oh, yeah.
I eat that up. David's got a question. It says, does your program put us in contact with funding partners?
Well, here again, the funding partners we're using are typically people we draw in with our marketing who have cash or can get a loan. Okay, so it's not like we're bringing in private investors. Private investors want a high interest rate and they want good loan to value. So they're not going to loan me $100,000 on a $100,000 house. See, now I will use a private lender on a double close. So if I'm going to make a huge check on a property and I don't want my seller to know it, I'll bring in a private lender to lend me the funds to do the first closing and then sell it the same day to somebody else for more money. And then I just pay a transactional funding fee. And typically I pay anywhere from 1 to 1.5% for that use of that money. Now, here's a tip for you. Where do you find the best transactional funder? Why not your attorney that's going to close the deal, or the title company, or the escrow company? No better loan. It never leaves their bank account. It never leaves their bank account. So that's who we use. We typically will use like our attorney and give them 1 to 1.5%, depending on the deal.
Indeed. Well, if anybody else has a comment or whatever, if they'd like to unmute themselves and come on board, come on, because now's the time. We're going to sign off in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I have a question.
Go, LaShonda.
I wanted to ask on the dispo, what does your, like, when you're looking for the funder, the buyer, what does your, what does that look like when you're?
Okay, so the marketing, what's it look like?
Yes.
We're selling for sale by owner. Here's all right, I got to give you a little bit more. So we got to get into it a little more, Steve. When I get them to,
they got too much background here. I don't know who it is.
No, it's Victor, I think.
Okay. When I sign when I get them to sign the master agreement to buy, they also sign a memorandum that states that I have an agreement to buy the property and that they agree not to incur any more debt on the property. Then that memorandum is recorded against the title. So that makes me a principal in the deal. Okay.
Okay.
So now I can legally market the property for sale by owner.
Got it.
So how would you get around in Illinois where they have wholesalers can only do one deal?
Ah, sounds like Illinois.
Yes.
Because we're not wholesaling.
Okay.
See, you're selling your contract.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not selling my contract. I'm releasing my memorandum. So when I get paid under the mortgages and loans section being paid off.
Okay.
Because I'm a lien on the property.
Okay.
I'm not selling my agreement to buy it for $100,000.
Some of the secrets.
So you would be totally legal in Illinois.
Definitely.
Only if you're saying if you get that memorandum recorded.
Definitely. That's the secret sauce, guys. You gotta do things right. And one of the first things we teach you when you come into our system is to take everything to your attorney and have him make you legal and compliant where you live. Now, we have agreements in there. We have the memorandums in there. All that stuff's in there. He may like it the way it is. They may say we may want to make some changes to it. They may want to scrap it and create their own paperwork, whatever makes you legal and compliant in your state. See, we teach go get legal and compliant first, then go do the business. The other gurus will teach you just go find houses. Go find houses and worry about that stuff later. And it's like, no, not today. You can't. We did that 20 years ago. Today, you can't do that.
John, I've got a question inside the chat room, and this is a good one. It says, and it goes back to something that you shared with us tonight. It says the $200,000 house that you agreed to pay $400,000 for. Did the funder pay the extra $200,000, or how was that structured, and how long did you tie up the house for?
The house was tied up for I can't remember. It was either 3 or 6 months. I can't remember. But I only needed 2 months, I think, and I found a funder. And he did pay $400,000 for the house. But he paid it over time. Okay, so the market rent for this house was $1,900. The taxes and insurance on the property was like $400 a month. So that left $1,500 a month out of the $1,900. So what we did was we made an amortization schedule for $400,000. And every month that the rent was paid, $1,500 principal came off that $400,000. So when
No
you're
interest.
making
No interest.
when you're making principal only payments, it pays off quick. So this paid off in, I think it was a little over 22 years. That's better than a 30-year loan. Buyer didn't have to go to the bank, didn't have to qualify. Seller gets $400 for his $200,000 house. He just has to take it over time. It's the only way they're going to get over market value, way over market value. I mean, you might get some higher and best, for 5, 10, 20,000, but to get 200,000, double the price of the value of the property, the only way they're going to get it is if they take it in monthly payments. So we did it principal only, $1,500 a month, the taxes and the insurance. Now I had to sell it to the seller because he wanted all cash because he owned it free and clear and he wanted all cash. I said, look, you're going to get $400,000. It's just going to take time. You're going to save $400 a month not paying taxes and insurance. You're going to save not paying electric, pool care, yard care, garbage, all this stuff. So I sold it to him why he should do the deal. And he said, you know what? Yeah, he said, I can do that. And we did the deal. And then I took what my buyer had down, and it was like $7,000, I think. So I made $7,000 on that deal, and my seller ended up making $400,000 on a $200,000 house.
And an easier way, not an easier way, but something else important in that we kind of jumped over was, since the seller was receiving his money in installments, his taxes that he would do to the IRS were also in installments. So he wasn't handing the IRS this big chunk of cash. So he was also happy about that.
That's right.
It's a lot of it is the way you structure a deal. I talk about that online here, every once in a while, and I love structuring deals. John is one of the first guys that showed me the ins and outs of doing that. So my hat off to John. Gotta love John.
Yeah.
So I think we're getting late here.
I'm with you, Steve.
I'm sorry.
Hey, there's Rick.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Oh, there he is.
How you doing?
And good, sir. And John doesn't know that I was here at the call, but I will tell anything and everything what he tells is correct. And he always replies his emails. He's the one, like nobody else answers it. He's the one who is answering the questions if you guys join. He's the best.
Wow.
Thanks, Rick.
Good
Yeah,
stuff.
Rick's been to our 4-day as well.
Yeah.
Yep, 2 times.
That's right.
Actually, 2 times or 3 times. Yep.
Cool.
Any other questions, comments before we sign off, Victor?
Just real quick. So from what I'm hearing, there's 2 components. One is there's the element of a little bit of upfront cost because we're structuring our business and we're taking on attorney costs on the front end. So I would assume, that's something we need to be prepared for in terms of, the cost of doing this outside of the training. And also, I would assume there's quite a bit of funder outreach that is a component of it. In other words, we're always looking for the funder, right? We're always looking for the money, and we're kind of shopping. Am I off track?
Yeah, you're going to have some upfront costs of having the attorney approve your master agreement. But once it's approved, then you just keep reusing it.
And he's not going to create something from scratch.
Yeah, he doesn't have to.
Yeah.
Right.
So
John, on the houses that you buy, do you go by the comps at all, or you don't really run the comps on the property?
yeah, that's the other nice thing about the way we do business. I don't get into all that stuff. You know, the only way I'll look at the comps is if I'm staying in the deal. Then I've got a girl who she does the title work for one of the attorneys, and I'll just email her the property address, and then she'll send me back what I call a quick look at the title. And I just want to know from the day the seller bought it till today, what has attached to that property. Okay. And any taxes, any liens, that kind of stuff. And then she gives me that information. So then I know, what's on the title. As far as comps, again, I don't care. Here's the thing, guys. I don't really sell purchase price. I sell payments. Kind of like when Steve was doing cars. He didn't say you can drive this Mercedes for $150,000. No. He said you can drive this Mercedes for $399 a month. And that's what we do. We offer the payments. We sell payments, not price. That way we can get more price. Okay? Because if I can take the price up, as long as that payment stays the same.
So you have no problem paying $225,000 for a $200,000 house.
Exactly. As long as I can get my seller to accept payments for the equity, and then I'm going to make that principal only. Because why am I going to give him interest on top of the $25,000 he's already making above market value?
Right.
Financing and structuring is a whole nother ballgame here. That's a whole nother 3-4 hour worth of instructions. But you can go all different ways with this. John, we've been on for an hour and a half, man.
Okay. Yeah.
We want to thank everybody for coming on board here tonight. Just the reason we're doing this on Monday nights is to build our subscription. Well, build this guy over here, Justin. The subscriptions for this great system. That's the only one that I know that's out there. Hey, John, you ever hear anybody doing this every day? Every day, Monday through Saturday. Crazy. And Sunday they take off. So every morning they've got afternoon, they've got a call in that lasts at least an hour, and they cover everything. And how much is this a month, Justin?
$49 a month.
$49.
Nobody's getting rich on this. But what we want to do is we want to build the ranks up. So if you're on this call and you haven't joined, why? Tonight's a free call. It's recorded. You can go back and watch it on YouTube. And look at the talent that's in this room besides Mr. Iannotti. All right. John, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I appreciate you. Buddy, I love you.
Awesome.
And everybody here that's on tonight, the talent, the questions were right on the money. I promised you a great speaker for our first call. I delivered, I think. And I'm going to hand it over to our master of ceremonies there. Justin, you can close this up.
Yeah, John, share screens with that last page. It's got your phone, the phone number for ordering and the website and all that. Can you do that?
Yep.
Yeah, one last time. And let me say big heartfelt thank you. What an honor to meet you. Okay. And then to sit here at your table for 90 minutes. What a blessing, man. Thank you, sir, for sharing with us. Tremendous content. If you're out there watching on any platform, we're on numerous platforms. We've had over 30 people in the Zoom room tonight. But if you're out there watching, right here on the screen, the phone number and the website, go check it out right now. If you want to know more about us and what we do, what Steve was talking about, that's realestatewholesalersclub.com. But you definitely want to visit thecatsteam.com.
Yeah.
Do you like dogs?
Oh yeah. My daughter, she was the one that the cats. She loves cats, and but we always had a dog as well.
That's great, man. Anybody else have one last final word? Anything, Steve? Anybody? Okay, everybody Stay healthy, stay safe
John.
out there, okay? And we'll see you again later. All
God
right.
bless everybody,
Thanks,
and
everybody.
Thank you,
Take
John.
care.
Thank
hope
you.
to see you.
Thank
Hope to see you as members, and hope to see you at the top.
Great night. Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Thank you.